And we're back live. We're live now. We're live.
All right. Technical difficulties.
Yeah, apologize for the technical difficulties. So let's start back really quick. Just recap that the civil service thing there.
The law, right. All right. So this is the law that they go to when they got to get you off the payroll because you brought an attorney to internal affairs. You told the union president, who's a puppet for the mayor and the commissioner, you told him to stay home.
Service or some kind of. Sorry, go ahead.
You brought an attorney. You brought an attorney to internal affairs, and this is the statute of the civil service law, the New York State civil service law, that they go to in emergencies when they see that they're about to get sued. Right? You got to get you off the payroll so that your attorney, who works for money, and you're not making it anymore because they took you off the payroll, this leverages him into pushing you to sign an agreement that gives away your rights to sue them. Okay?
Right.
Big scam.
This is the probable cause that they need.
This is how they protect themselves. Right. So, notwithstanding any of the provisions, meaning the first four provisions of the New York State civil service law, if the appointing authority, meaning the city, determines that there is probable cause, which they buy from the doctor that they're in contract with, to believe that the continued presence of the employee on the job represents potential danger to persons or property or would severely interfere with operations, it may place such employee on involuntary leave of absence immediately. The voluntary leave of absence means suspension without pay. So, very simple. What this law allows them to do, it's a very vague and poorly written law, in my opinion, because it creates a nuclear weapon for the employer to use against you. Okay?
Yeah, it's a weapon, right? So this is how they set you up, and then they put you without pay. And then that's another thing. They squeeze you, right? You need to get paid. So that's another thing.
They squeeze you. They squeeze your personal finances and your personal life, and they squeeze your attorney because
right.
He's looking to get paid. He's looking to hand you an invoice every week or two. They get paid for his hours. Once they get you off the payroll, that's basically putting the screws to him. All right. Now you got a client that's not getting paid.
Right.
So he pushes you to sign an agreement. That happened later on, but that's not important for the purposes of this podcast. Okay. When I walk into internal affairs with an attorney, Mueller realizes he's got to pull this scam. He's got to get me to a doctor who's going to fail me. That's arranged before I ever show up to his office. Then they use the report that they got from him to invoke this article of the civil service law to get you off of the payroll. And now they got all kinds of leverage over you. Okay. Now, the clinic that they use to buy the probable cause that's prescribed by this article of the civil service law, the clinic that they use is the IMA clinic in Hartsdale, New York. Okay, that's the inside of the clinic. I also sent you a picture of the exterior of it, just so people know what it looks like when they pass by it. You got your audio on? Audio.
I know. I'm saying I'm putting up now. I'm laughing because you got a picture of the inside, the outside.
Yeah. If I had more time, I would have threw a GoPro on and walked up in there and asked some questions and sent them to you.
Then a virtual tour.
I didn't have time for that. All right, this is the IMA clinic. It's up on Central Avenue in Hartsdale, across from like the Christmas tree shop, and I think there's a Trader Joe's somewhere over there. This is as you're going north towards White Plains. It's a total quackery clinic. I don't know what other kind of services they offer in that building, but the IMA group is the Industrial Medicine Associates group. Okay, their headquarters is in Tarrytown. This is the clinic that the city of Yonkers sends people to be failed psychologically when they're making waves that the mayor doesn't like, speaking out about nepotism, complaining about the way things are done, maybe talking bad about the mayor himself. In my case, it was me getting into a beef with Gumbala. We've been to Reno. And so Mueller decided to pull this little trick.
Has anybody, I wonder if anyone else out there, has gone to this place before and has had this issue. And if they're out there, they want to maybe email me, reach out to me. And disclaimer, what? I don't want to get sued by this business. I'm already being sued. So disclaimer, our Basement Politics does not necessarily agree with the views of our guest.
They're not going to sue you in anything in relation to this podcast or anything about Anthony DiMaggio. I assure you that. They don't want me anywhere near a courtroom.
Yeah, that's true. They'd rather not blow it up.
Yeah, they can't win. So they don't want me on a stand testifying against them. I'm seasoned in court and stuff like that. So, and plus I have all the facts on my side. But anyway, this is where they send you when they need you failed. All right. Now, This was going to come on a much later podcast because we're doing things chronologically out of order. The reason I wanted to move this up is because there are a couple of other people that I know of who have appointments pending at this place. They're going for psychological evaluations and they're going to get railroaded like I did. Okay. That's how the city gets leverage over you. So I warned them about this.
Is it police officers? I'm sorry, not other police officers or you don't want to say? I don't even ask.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that, when Vinny Spano or whoever watches this podcast, they'll do their little homework and they might be able to figure out a couple of the people that I'm talking about. I don't want to give any hints in case, they can't figure it out. It's people who work for the city who the powers that be have deemed to be pains in the asses. Nothing wrong with them. They're vocal about they don't like this one's nephew getting hired or the friends and family network, or they don't like the way this is done or that is done. And they're vocal. So now they got to get psyched. Okay. They psych anyone who doesn't fall in line. So this is the clinic. When I walk into internal affairs on January 28th, 2020 with an attorney, I leave internal affairs after an hour or so. And, I'm sitting at home. I send an email that I was working on to Frank Cariello, my commanding officer. That's something we'll get to later on. I'm going to skip over a lot of details, trying to get as much as I can into this one podcast just to get the word out about this clinic, okay? So I get home from internal affairs, and a few hours later, Justin Barbado calls me. And he says, you got to go for a psychological evaluation. Now, I had already known this was coming. Ray Montero told me that this was going to be what they were going to do because they tried the same thing with him. I was in touch with Ray a lot in those days, on an almost daily basis. So he said, yeah, you're going to go and you're probably going to fail this time because Mueller is the commissioner now. And, he's not going to use the same guy that Chuck used when he sent me for an evaluation. And he didn't. So he makes an appointment, right? Well, before we get to that, Justin Barbado tells me in the same phone call, you have to go for a psychological evaluation. What we're going to do is we're going to put you in the radio room, which is where the dispatchers work. Okay. And you're going to supervise the dispatchers. You'd be at a desk. You have to take your guns down to IED now, bring them down now, he tells me, which is very odd because usually when they have concerns about you, they come to your house to get them. Like in a surprise, they just show up,
Oh, really? So they'll come to your house.
He says, bring your guns down. Okay. Now, if I'm so nuts, you're going to let me pull up to the Internal Affairs office on Radford Street with a car full of guns and, as far as they know, boxes of ammo. And, well, I'm nuts, right? So how safe for you if I'm pulling up down to the office with a car full of guns and ammo? Right. You know what I mean? It's all bullshit. But it's, if they're going to take me off the street and put me on a desk, they have to go through the motion. So, okay, bring down your guns. You're going to go for a psychological evaluation. And we're going to put you in the radio room pending the evaluation. You're not suspended without pay. You're not on administrative leave. I said, okay. So they put me in the radio room. Okay, now keep in mind, this is January 28th. This happens. They put me in the radio room, and I'm working there night after night. I was working the midnight shift, starting at 10 o'clock at night to 6 in the morning. And I'm working there night after night, and I'm not hearing anything about this evaluation that I'm supposed to be going for. Finally, by the time February 10th rolls around, I'm on the phone with my attorney, and he says, you better let me call and ask. I said, all right. So he sends an email to Justin Barbado, and I sent that to you if you want to pull it up. He sends an email on February 10th, which is about 2 weeks after I was told that I had to go.
What's the name? What
doctor's appointment. It should say first appointment notice.
Okay. Oh, I
number
got you.
one. First appointment notice number one. Right. Yeah.
Give me a second because
no problem.
So go ahead.
Yeah. Again, I apologize for the technical difficulties that we had. They were my fault entirely.
It's all good. So I got it here. So go ahead. I don't want to stop you there. I'll bring it up now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So if we can see it. So 2 weeks after I'm told that I'm going to the radio room and then I have to wait there pending, a psychological evaluation, I still haven't heard anything about it. So my attorney emails Justin Barbado. Okay. As you are likely aware, officer, he said officer, he got it wrong. I was lieutenant. Lieutenant DiMaggio has yet to be scheduled for his psychiatric evaluation. Officer DiMaggio understandably is anxious for this examination to take place as he is eager to get off desk duty and back out to his usual job assignment. Please schedule the evaluation for this week if at all possible. If this is not possible, please let me know when you anticipate the psychiatric evaluation being scheduled. If we can do anything to help get this promptly scheduled, please let me know. Additionally, as we discussed at the time of the interview, kindly arrange for me to be copied on all communications, blah, blah, blah. All right. Now, that's February 10th at 1:14 in the afternoon. Barbado does not respond to that email. Instead, I go into work that night. I start at 10 o'clock as usual. And about 15 minutes into the tour, Glenn Caserta and Jared Singer, both of whom are day tour lieutenants, and both of who sit on the board of the CLSA, they show up. They show up with an appointment notice, and they hand deliver it to me. Okay, the first thing I thought was, well, this is kind of unnecessary. I mean, my attorney emailed them. You can easily scan an appointment notice and email it back to my attorney who's waiting for it, right? No. John Mueller paid 2 daytime lieutenants overtime, 4 hours of overtime each, okay? Altogether, the two of them probably cost about $1,000, $950, something like that. When he could have just scanned the thing and sent it to my attorney, he paid 2 daytime lieutenants to come in on overtime and hand me the thing. You have it. You want to pull it up?
Wow. Is that number 2? Or
Yeah.
what is that?
First appointment notice number 2. Right, there it is.
Yep.
Can you zoom in a little bit? Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna zoom in there.
Right. Now, if you look in the upper left-hand corner, right?
Oh, shit, it went too much.
Yeah, it's too close. Look in the upper left-hand corner, up a little higher than that.
Yeah, I'm got to zoom back
Right.
out.
See, January 30th, 2020.
Right.
Now, keep in mind, this is the night of February 10th. This is 2 weeks after they told me I had to go for this appointment. On February 10th, they're showing up on the late tour. They hand me an appointment notice that has all this information on it. In the upper left-hand corner, you see January 30th, 2020. That's the day that they called the clinic to make the appointment. So they had this appointment ready on January 30th and didn't tell me about it. Come February 10th, my attorney has to reach out to find out what's going on, right? That's the first thing I noticed. The second thing I noticed is that the appointment is for February 12th. It's less than 48 hours away. So here you have a situation where on January 28th, they tell me I have to go for psychiatric evaluation. They make the appointment on January 30th for February 12th, and they just sit there and hold it. Why?
So if your attorney had not emailed them, would they have even told you?
No. And this is what I later figured out afterward, because this was very odd to me. This is very odd. None of this makes sense. What's going on here? But then again, you're dealing with a screwball. Okay, John Mueller was quarterbacking this entire thing, so it makes sense to the extent that it doesn't make sense, because nothing makes sense with this guy. So look at first appointment notice number 3. Okay. Right. So I scan the appointment notice and I email it to Justin Barbado, because I realized that by having it hand delivered to me, almost certainly, John Mueller, Nuck Smith, is trying to avoid an electronic timestamp of when it was served to me. Something in my gut told me that he wants to be able to reserve the possibility of lying and saying that, oh no, we served him with that as soon as we made the appointment. We made it on January 30th. We served him on January 30th. We don't know why his attorney sent that email on February 10th. He already had it. DiMaggio did. So he doesn't want a record of when it was served. He doesn't want a record of the fact that he was holding on to it. Okay. Right. And does this sound weird? Okay, good, because you're going to see where it's going. I scan it. I email it to Barbado, and he answers me back. He says, "Yeah, I'm aware." Okay. And that's that. Now that was the first, right? So now that's February 10th. Now, a couple of days later, on the morning of the 12th, I realized that I have to go for this alleged evaluation. Now I know it's going to be rigged, because this is John Mueller. He doesn't do anything on the level, right? Talking to a couple of people, they said, "Yeah, of course you have to fail. I mean, if the doctor even puts you back on a desk, the city's going to get sued, and this guy's never going to get called again. This clinic, so they got to fail you." So it's obvious. So the morning of the 12th, I say to myself, on the outside chance that that this thing might be on the level, I suppose I should want to be in the best mood I can be in. And nothing puts me in a better mood than seeing my daughter, right?
Right.
So at about 6 a.m, I text my daughter's mother that I'm coming up. She lives up in Dutchess County. I text her and I say, I'm coming up to bring our daughter to the bus stop, the school bus stop. This is something I did routinely. Not every day, but routinely. Never a big deal. I text her, I'm coming. And I go up, and she sends her out of the house, gets in the car, and I take her to the school bus stop down the road. Sometimes it works in reverse. I'll pick her up from the school bus. I'll bring her home after school, okay? Never a big deal. Never any restrictions on me going to my daughter's mother's house.
Right.
So I text her. I have breakfast at the Raceway Diner, and I text her, I'm coming up. I'm going to bring her to the school bus. I don't get a response. I take the hour drive. I pull into her driveway, and I text her again. I'm here. Can you send her out? The first thing she texts me back, this text just woke me up. In other words, this text, not the first one that you sent me an hour ago. She's putting a timestamp on when she woke up, okay? What she wants to be able to do later on is say that she was still sleeping when I sent the first text, which is why she didn't protest me coming up to her house, right? What she's about to do, and I don't know it, is she's about to go to family court on this guy's orders and file a family offense petition saying he came to my house, he did this, he did that. They're going to get that. They're going to get an order of protection based on the family offense petition, and they're going to send all of that to the doctor in time for the evaluation that's going to take place at 2:00 later in the day. All right. That's what he was waiting for. That's why he didn't tell me about the appointment. He was waiting to make sure that she had an opportunity to do that, but it had to be based on something new, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to prove in real time. Now she's afraid of this guy. Now forget about all the stuff that, that she sent to Internal Affairs and we used against him from the past, right? No, this is still ongoing. She's afraid in real time. So you can't send her to complain about old stuff. You have to wait for an opportunity for her to go based on some final straw. You know what I mean? Right. That's happening in real time. So that's what he was waiting for. He got orders to her to go, you have to get to family court. This doctor has to fail him. We need him to fail him. He's going to fail him. We're ordering him to fail him. But we need to give him ammo. We need to give the doctor ammo. And the fact that they have my daughter's mother down at Internal Affairs complaining about me when there's nothing going on in our personal life, no cops being called, no family offense petitions, no orders of protection, just two grown people arguing with each other, right?
Right.
That's a big problem, because the way it usually works when a cop gets sent for a psychological evaluation based on something domestic is that the incident comes first, then the evaluation. But Mueller, thinking that I was going to use the union president who he has in his pocket, doesn't have to worry about those details. But when I bring a lawyer now, he does. You understand? He has to start building the case for the event that it gets into a courtroom, right? So I show up to a house, and this text just woke me up, this second one. And she starts giving me the spiel. Oh, I'm late. I'll take her myself today. I said, I just drove an hour. You could have texted me an hour ago to tell me this. I mean, I'm just going to wait here. If you're running late, send her out late, and I'll drive her to the school myself or whatever.
Right, you're ready to go.
Right, but she can't give me our kid. Why? Because when she goes to family court, she's going to fill out a family offense petition, and she's going to get an order of protection for the both of them, for her and for our daughter. Wow. She can't just stop at her and say, oh, it's okay that he sees his daughter. Right. She's trying to sell the idea that she thinks I'm nuts.
Right, something's wrong with you.
She can't let me have access to the kid, right? She has to go the whole 9 yards. So if she gives me the kid and then goes to family court and files a family offense petition saying all this and that and gets an order of protection for me to stay away from my daughter, then the obvious question is going to be, then why did you give him the kid in the morning? Right. So she has to withhold our daughter from me. Wow. So what she does is ultimately she says, meet us at the school.
So now you're stalking them and you're going to the school.
Right. That's what they said in the family offense petition. They said, oh, he was at the school. He was at the school, as if I had just showed up there. Wow. They left out that she told me to go in a text message. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So go to the school. We'll meet you there. You can walk into the door. We did that. I go to the school. She pulls up with our daughter. I get her out of the car. No words. No words between she and I at all. I walk my daughter to the front door of the school. She was late. Okay. And the school where she goes up there has a policy of nobody goes into the school because of all the school shootings and stuff. Even a parent, I can't walk my kid to the classroom. I had to let her go at the door. So now you got my daughter. She's 5 years old. She's in kindergarten. She's already late. There's nobody around to guide her into which classroom she has to go into.
Wait, no one meets her at the door?
And my daughter is very bold and brazen. I walked her to the door. She walked right into the school. I told her, wait a minute, wait for someone to come find you. She said, no, bye, Daddy. And she just started walking around the school. So I had to basically trust that she was going to find her classroom because she already missed going in with the rest of the class. Okay. I drive home. I drive back to Yonkers. I'm hanging around at my parents' house. I'm waiting for this ridiculous doctor's appointment. I get a call from Glenn Caserta at about 12:09, I think it was. And he tells me, Anthony, that clinic canceled your appointment for later in the day. I said, really? Did they tell you why? Oh, they said they couldn't accommodate you today or something like that. I don't really know. I said, okay, Glenn. Thank you. And I hang up. Now, immediately, I think back to a story that Ray Montero told me about the day that he went for his evaluation. Not going to tell that story here. It's kind of long-winded. I'll tell it at a later time. I get on the phone with him. Ray, something's going on. Glenn Caserta just called me and told me that the appointment is canceled. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? He goes, no. That's Mueller. Mueller's fucking around. Mueller's up to something. I said, well, how about this? I have the appointment notice with the place's phone number on it. He says, you read my mind. Then I call my attorney and I tell him, I'm going to find out what's going on from the receptionist. I'm going to give him a song and dance about how I moved my schedule all around. And I just tell me who canceled the appointment because I really want to know. I would like to call the person and get an explanation. That's all. Lawyer says, good idea. So I do that. I call the clinic and I record the conversation with the receptionist. And you have that also.
Yeah,
it's a couple of minutes long, but it's jaw-dropping. Okay? The department called me to tell me that the clinic canceled.
Let me know when you're ready.
And I smelled a rat, so I called and I recorded this conversation. Go ahead.
Let me know you can hear it.
It takes a few seconds. Hold on.
No, I'm saying, but you can hear it. Like whatever.
No, it's not playing. I can't hear it. Can you? You got the audio off.
I'm gonna play it now. Yeah, you know what it is. I shared it without hitting audio, but so give me 1 second. Takes. That's that's crazy, man. I'm gonna tell you something about that. I think that's happening to me here in Yonkers. Actually,
play from the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Make sure you can.
Thanks, brother. This is IMA, yes? Hello, is this IMA? Yes, I'm helping. Hi, how you doing, sir? I was just trying to find out why an appointment that my office had arranged for me for 2:00 today had been canceled because I had really sort of moved heaven and earth to be available for it today, and all I got was a phone call from my office telling me that it had been canceled, but they didn't have really any more information for me. Would you be able to tell me who canceled that appointment? My name is Anthony DiMaggio. I had a 2:00 with Melissa Antiaris. Okay, 1 second. Sure. I guess you will have to get in contact with your DiMaggio. Hello? Yeah, I'm here. Okay. Just. Yeah, it stopped. I don't know why.
It's supposed to have. No, it's playing. Oh no.
But it froze?
Yeah. I don't know. Let me try it again.
Yeah, we were at 109. We didn't miss anything important yet. Yeah. Just the name of the person who canceled it so I can call that person and ask them what happened. 1 second. I'm going to put you home, okay? Okay, sure. Yeah.
Have you ever felt like running away?
I'll try to find out. Good afternoon. Speaking, how can I help you? Hi, how are you? I've been calling around. I'm trying to figure out who canceled an appointment that I had scheduled for today so I can try to contact that person and get some sort of an explanation because I really, I moved around my schedule a lot to make sure that I was available for it today. Is there any way you can tell me who canceled it? I'm not asking for a reason why. I'm just asking for the name of the person so I can call them. The department. It says client. That means the department. So the department canceled it?
Yes.
Mm. But didn't give you a name.
No, because we don't go by names. We go by departments. We have contracts with departments.
Can you tell me at what time they canceled it, please?
Around 9:59 this morning.
Okay, via telephone. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Wow. They have contracts with different departments all over.
Yeah, and I actually saw an appointment letter from Carlos Moran to an individual about to go for an appointment there. And it actually says right in the letter, we have contracted with IMA, this Industrial Medicine Association group, to do psychological evaluations. It actually says it. We have a contract with them. They don't try to hide anything, man. But anyway, all right. So now I know that I was just lied to by the commanding officer of the Medical Control Unit, Glenn Caserta. But why? What's going on? I'm keeping in mind the story that Ray had told me. Essentially, what it amounts to is that Mueller likes to pile on at the last minute with these psychological evaluations. So I didn't know what to make of it, and I was just chilling out. I took a nap, and someone gets in touch with me and tells me something's going on, bro. I said, "What's going on?" Person tells me, Cal Nasser, right, the commanding officer of the Special Investigations Unit, that's the unit that handles threats against cops and things like that, just called up to the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office to try to get her a take-home radio. Okay. Now, right there, that's where I needed to have my head checked, not realizing what was going on yet. Because you got to understand, this is a woman that I know for well over a decade, and it's just not her. She's not going to family court ever. It's not happening.
Right.
I mean, the report that this guy used, that they used to fire me, she's had it for a year. I gave it to her in January of this year. She's done nothing with it. I'm at her house 6 times a week, picking up and dropping off my door. So it never occurred to me that they probably sent her to family court to do something in furtherance of this ridiculous workplace retaliation mission. But that's what happened, and I hadn't realized it yet. So I texted her and I said, "Why did Cal just try to get you a radio from the local police office up there?" And she doesn't answer me. Okay, she would later text some other people and say, "He knows already." How? So you ask yourself, if I had the 2:00 appointment, right, and I went to her house at 8:00 in the morning, well, why not just go to family court, file the offense petition, get the order of protection? It doesn't take that long, maybe about an hour, less. Send it to the doctor, and then I walk in at 2:00. Why did he have to cancel the appointment? The answer is because that particular morning was President's Day, and the family court was closed. She couldn't get to the family court to file the petition and get the order of protection until the following morning. That does the doctor no good. If I go for the doctor's appointment on the 12th, he can't use a family offense petition that isn't going to be filed until the following morning. He can't use it against me in the evaluation and in the report. Right. So he has to cancel the appointment. Now, when he cancels, he calls up to the group's headquarters in Tarrytown, and he speaks to a woman named Barbara Young. Okay, I got this from the Internal Affairs reports. This woman named Barbara Young, you can look up her picture on the internet. He tells her, "We have to cancel the appointment, but send me an email saying that you canceled and come up with the reason why." Okay. This woman, Barbara Young, sends an email that I have not yet seen. I terrorized Paul Sweeney, the city's attorney, for a copy of this email, and he said, "Oh, we don't have it." I terrorized Glenn Caserta for a copy of this email because he said he saw it too. Oh no, I deleted that a long time ago. Right? Mueller has this woman, Barbara Young, cancel the appointment and send him an email saying that it's actually them that's canceling. Why? No. Because the first doctor looked at all of the material that Internal Affairs, the black shirts, brought up to her up in the office, and she looked at all and she examined it and she said, "You know what? I'm not really qualified to do this evaluation. So I have to cancel," right? That's the reason that the administrators up at this group, this clinic that's in bed with the city, gave to the police commissioner in writing in an email. All bullshit, right?
Right.
Now,
well, really quick, if they would have done it, right, let's say it wasn't President's Day and you would have gotten, she would have gotten the order of protection or whatever, when, like you said, early in the morning, before 2:00, wouldn't that have looked suspicious that it was done, the same day that you went to the shrink? I mean, I'm just saying. That would look suspicious to me, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, but in hindsight, I bet you they're wishing they had done it that day, done it that way. You know, I mean, just
right.
He could have easily foregone, said, you know what, it's too late. Don't send it, you know, to get the family defense petition. It's going to be too obvious now. But he's not all there. And that's kind of the point of everything that I'm saying about this guy. He's a screwball. He thinks he's an evil genius badass. He's not. Okay? He's a moron. And I caught him at every turn. So they're freaking out that I'm doing these podcasts.
Right.
Okay? So I go to bed that night. The next morning on the 13th, I'm talking to a friend of mine on the phone, not Ray Montero. And I'm telling him what's going on. And he's quiet. And I say, what are you thinking? He goes, I think you're missing it. I said, well, what are you talking about? He goes, I don't think that they're about to send her to family court to do something. I think they already did. He said, think about it. A take-home radio. And then it was like someone smacked me in the face.
Right.
I was just
I mean,
stunned.
that's something you wouldn't think about, right? Like, I mean, you know, when my family did that to me, you know, and they came knocking on my door and they said they were CPS. I'm like, I thought they were lying. I just assumed they were lying, trying to get me to come out. So it's not something you think about.
This is where I got off the phone with him and I spoke to my father. And now, you know, he's stirring it too. I get on the computer and I send an email to Timmy Hodges. All right. I realize something's going on. You have that.
Right.
It's 3 pages worth, and it's very interesting. Right. So you want to read it? You want to read this one, or you want me to read it?
Yeah, you read it. I mean, because that way you know the email, you know what you read exactly.
Right.
I need
glasses. Yeah, names are redacted for silly reasons. Everybody knows my daughter's mother's name, but this is just something that I had on my computer. So if you want to scroll in a little bit, I'll read it. I can't really see it. Right.
I'm going to zoom it.
So now this is February 13th. You know, my daughter's mother has seen some of the emails that I sent out about this situation. She has not seen this one. So if she watches this podcast, it'll be the first time she's seen this. This is 8:15. Yeah, 8:15 in the morning, right? I send Hodges this email because he had told me, if you're going to send any email, send them to me. I said, Chief, I went to see my daughter early in the morning yesterday to drive her to the bus stop down the road from her mother's house. I've done this many times, and it's never an issue. In fact, I've even been to her house several times since my IAD interview, alleged, and there were no issues even then. And I know for a fact I went on January 30th to her house 2 days after my appointment, right? I tell him I forgave her as soon as she caved to them because it didn't take long to learn that they threatened to write her up for that job and take her shield, her gold shield, her detective shield, whatever other punishment they had in line for her. If she didn't cough up enough ugly yet benign text for them to get me to a doctor, and destroy my career. Sometimes when I'm on a busy streak, as you can imagine, I've been lately, bringing my daughter to the bus stop and picking her up in the afternoon is the only way I can get a few minutes to see her. I text my daughter's mother to tell her I'm outside, and she sends our daughter out to me, and I drive her to the school bus. Yesterday, though, it was quite obvious that she was withholding our daughter from me in an amateur attempt to get a rise out of me, and it just couldn't be plainer that she is taking part in all of this stupidity under duress. She was being coached on keeping my daughter from me, probably in real time. In case nobody has noticed yet, sir, I'm not an idiot. I know my daughter's mother. I know her family. I know the people they are and how they raised her. Her family loves me to this day. She has never done any of the things that she has been doing lately, not once in 12 years. She would not be doing any of these things of her own free will, and I'm certain of that. Right? You got to scroll down a little bit because I can't see.
Well, let me scroll down. It's like it's weird. All right.
Yeah.
Damn,
right.
Right there. Can you see that? Why isn't she?
Yeah. Well, that's Zoom. Scroll is just you do that.
It doesn't give me that option. Man.
Oh, it doesn't. Okay, so just zoom in a little bit. Or if you can, put our pictures on the side instead of the bottom.
All right. I got you.
There you go.
I'll even take them out. Is that better?
Now you can zoom in, right?
And I'll even
So I'm saying she will not get the rise out of me that they're all waiting for, sir. But at the same time, I cannot continue to be denied access to my princess. My daughter is my whole life, man. All I can do is sit back and wait to be sent to a doctor. That was supposed to happen yesterday at 2 p.m., but then Glenn called me at 12:09 p.m. to tell me that IMA, the medical company that the doctor works for, called to cancel the appointment because they said they couldn't accommodate or something, as Glenn put it. I didn't need to call IMA to bet my left leg that Glenn was lying, but I did anyway, just to get the receptionist on tape saying that it was the department that canceled, because I knew that's what was going on. She did. I have her on an audio-video recording saying that my department called to cancel at 9:59 a.m., which, by the way, is an hour after she filed the offense petition at 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay? The girl's name on the phone was Katiara.
I moved it down a little. Can you see that so you can maybe keep reading? I don't know if you're going to keep reading.
Yeah, I can keep reading. All right.
I mean, if you need to, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I just got a little closer to the screen. So, not long after that, a trustworthy source notified me that Cal Nasser had just called the sheriff's department in Dutchess County to request a take-home radio for my daughter's mother because of a domestic situation. On what grounds that request was made is totally lost to me because not a soul involved in this whole mess is in any danger at all, except maybe me since I've been unjustifiably stripped of my firearms. I did get to see my daughter's name is Sophie, and I guess I forgot to redact that one spot yesterday because her mother told me to wait at the school, which is not far, so I did. I got her from my car, from her mother's car, spent 60 seconds with her on the walk to the front door of the school, hugged and kissed her goodbye. I drove home heartbroken, and I was heartbroken because this little girl, 5 years old, has to go find her own classroom now because she's late to school. And just, bye, daddy. You rubbed her on the nose. We do the Eskimo kiss, they call it, right? You rub noses, I don't know. A lot of people do that with their kid. I do it.
No, man, I get it, man. I have a daughter, so, I totally understand.
So nothing at all happened requiring V to need to take home radio. But under duress, she must have immediately reported back to the tribe. That's what I was calling these assholes at the time. That I showed up unannounced, a phrase she very oddly jammed into our brief text conversation several times. So she's trying to set it up in the text messages. Why did you show up unannounced? Well, I don't know. I've been showing up unannounced like this for, 5 years. What's the problem now? For some reason that I can't figure out, and I'm usually pretty good at figuring things out, her reporting yesterday's entirely uneventful contact with me prompted the commissioner to cancel the doctor appointment that Captain Barbado told me the commissioner himself felt I needed, and then he instructed Cal to ask the Dutchess County sheriff for a take-home radio for her. I have no clue at all what to make of it. It's just bizarre. Now that's where I can't see anymore. Yeah. See if we can. I can read it there. That's fine.
Okay.
Right. Whatever it is that they're plotting now, whatever they're forcing her to do, they are going too far. I have thus far kept the email correspondence inside of the department, but if I continue to lose precious time.
That's you go to the next one?
Number 2, yeah.
Boom. There you go.
With my daughter, because this tribe keeps pressuring her mother to withhold her from me in an attempt to get a rise out of me, I don't know how long that will remain the case. Who wants to be that kind of guy, Chief? Certainly not me. We're supposed to do our own dirty laundry, but I'm running out of options. I can't let my daughter go for my absence just because the tribe is using her as bait to try to trap me in a domestic incident. She and I have always fought a lot and probably always will, but we do not have incidents that rise to the level of courts and take-home radios getting involved. That's utter nonsense. That SIU has been brought into this conspiracy is just astonishing to me. Is there no end to Commissioner Clusterfuck's tribal immaturity? Now, I didn't put that in there, but that's the way I like to refer to it, right?
You know what? I got closer to the screen to try to read that.
Is there no end to the commissioner's tribal immaturity? How much damage is he really looking to do to my personal life and the careers of everybody around him in the department just to retaliate for me reporting some flagrant insubordination by Lou Venturino? Okay? Is Louis the liar, as he was known, really worth all of this? Has anybody up there yet to express the sentiment that what they tried here with IED was a really bad idea? As the commissioner not figured out by now that if I were really looking to hammer his pal, I would have just attached the voicemail to the first email that I sent. Right now, the rest is just get in touch with me when you can, Chief. Now, I send this email to Hodges and I forward it to Internal Affairs. Now, go to part 3, if you can, please.
Yep.
Right. After I forward it to Internal Affairs, this is the only thing that Barbado has to say back to me. Anthony, I received your email this morning. We would appreciate it if you could provide the Internal Affairs Division with the copy of the recorded conversation you had with the IMA group receptionist regarding your canceled interview. Now, that email that I just sent out is chock full of all types of wild accusations against people, all of which I knew were true. But despite all of that, the only thing Barbado wants to do is confirm that I actually did make a recording.
Right. He wants to make sure you actually have that evidence.
He wants to know if I really made it, and if I did, he wants to hear it so they can start preparing on how to discredit it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, I'm no idiot. I'm not going to send him that. So I tell him, talk to my lawyer. You want something from me? Talk to my lawyer. Now, I think that when I said that, they must have assumed, okay, we know he talked to the receptionist because all of the information that he just put in there is real. He knew her name. He knew the time that we called to cancel. Okay. So he did talk to her, but he didn't give us the recording, right? Why wouldn't he? He's given us everything else. He gave us the voicemail from Louis. He told us he had all these other emails. He's shown us everything that he has so far. So why wouldn't he give us the recording if he really does have one? Okay, they probably figured I was bluffing. So what they did in a panic was now they call the second doctor, because after I sent that email, Glenn Caserta calls me back and says your appointment's back on for tomorrow. Now that's the 14th. Okay, the first one was for the 12th. They canceled it. She filed a family defense petition on the 13th, and now I have the appointment rescheduled for the 14th. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And now she got it. We're good to go.
Right. Now it's with a different doctor.
A question about Cal Nassar.
Yeah.
Nassar. His name has been coming up a lot to me from various people. How is he? Is he?
Cal is a great guy.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. People were mad. People like to throw his name out there because he made a hell of a lot of money. But when you're in as tight with the mayor as he was, you're gonna make a lot of money. You know what I mean? He was the commanding officer of the Special Investigations Unit. Absolutely hates to his core John Mueller. Absolutely hates him. As does Vinny Spano, by the way. But yeah, so Cal is a real good guy. He just, people throw his name around as one of those guys that made a ton of money before he left. But he's a really great guy. I had a conversation with him. He told me it was Mueller that called him and told him to call up to the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office and get a radio for her. I knew that already, but I just wanted to confirm it with him, and I did.
Right. Interesting.
So,
you want me to put that email back up or no?
No, the email we're done with, right? So after 10 minutes after I send it, Len Caserta calls me and says your appointment is back on for tomorrow. Now it's a different doctor, and this is the guy that I sent you the picture of. If you want to show his sleazebag face again,
yeah.
And that's the impression that I got from people that I show his picture to, because that picture is right on LinkedIn. The LinkedIn professional website or whatever.
Yeah.
Where you look up people's credentials and whatnot. Right.
I've seen this guy somewhere. I don't know where. I've never been to him. I'm saying I've
probably on a mugshot somewhere. Probably on a white collar crime.
I don't know. He looks like a substitute teacher.
Yeah, and if you show the rest of the details from his LinkedIn page, right?
Yeah,
you can see the.
Let me bring that up. I think when I put everything down here. No, but he does. He looks familiar. I don't know why.
Yeah, that guy takes money. I call him Dr. Open Palm.
Yeah. Oh. And that wasn't his name. Oh, I just noticed that.
Yeah, so that's an image, a snapshot I took of his LinkedIn page, and you notice the Freudian slip there that I start off, right? Probably just a typo because the S is next to the A on the keyboard, but I like to call it a Freudian slip. He's a professional paycology.
Professional paycology.
Professional pay under the table for a diagnosis.
Yeah.
Total sleazebag. I sent you another file showing some interesting information about him that I had a private investigator dig up. No,
what would you call that?
It was the tax warrants.
Oh yeah, all right. Let me bring that up also.
So
yeah, you got a lot of stuff here on this guy.
Yeah, later on when we were preparing for the hearing, kangaroo hearing or whatever, the city brings in some hack lawyer that they know to conduct the hearing. It's all rigged, but yeah, no, that's not it. I mean, if you just want to go back to the email itself,
yeah. I'm in the email now. Hold on 1 second. No, I know. I just have that up for now. I'm looking at the email. Waiting the subject, here, Dr. Opalm. All right, got it here.
Yeah.
That's a lot of.
Right. So now, if you scroll in a little bit, we'll see. At the time that this guy did this alleged evaluation on me, in which we spoke like gentlemen with each other for about 25 minutes. At the time, he had, I don't know if he still does, Nick Spano might have taken care of this for him by now, being that he did this city a big favor. But he had 2 open tax warrants. He had tax liens against his estate. Okay, he owed the state. Thanks, Larry. Yeah, so this guy owed this doctor, this quack, at this quackery clinic. He owed the state damn near $70,000, or more than $70,000, about $74,000 and change dollars in back taxes. Okay, he's got liens against his estate. Tax warrants, in other words. And, I looked up, I did a little research on that. Very powerful things, that gives the government all types of tools to start messing with your life to start collecting their money. Now, I ask you, should a guy like that even be doing contracted work? from municipality. Right.
Right.
You can see there that I guess his ex-wife's name, because my private investigator told me that he was divorced a while back. I guess the wife took him to the cleaners or whatever. But he was broke.
Girl.
He was broke. He was in all types of debt. And those are the kinds of guys that the city goes to when they need a diagnosis assured beforehand. They can't gamble and have this guy saying, "Oh, well, let him go back to light duty and go for counseling."
It's always people that need money.
Right. Of course.
That's
like Handjob Harrod. He must be having a hard time paying bills because he's really doing some serious work. Here on the internet.
And that guy doesn't care because he completely makes shit up. Like there's no truth to it.
Absolutely. So this is just a little Easter egg. You know, we can go back to the story. I go in on the 14th, and I sit with this guy after they give me one of these stupid little tests. Thanks, Catherine. And we speak like gentlemen for 25 minutes or so, and I go home. And a couple of weeks later, I find out that I've been put on administrative leave. They don't even call me to tell me that I was put on administrative leave. I had to find out from another lieutenant working in the radio room on a particular day. I was supposed to relieve him, and I told him I'd be in a little early, and he goes, "You're on administrative leave, brother." So I had to call around and confirm this, and it turns out that the decision to not even notify me that I was on administrative leave was strategic. And there's something that I'll get to, at another time. Something that I said in an email that made them not even want to tell me. But
they weren't going to tell you weren't on. They weren't going to tell you.
No, what they wanted to do was they wanted to. I think this is the only thing I can gather from the way things played out. They wanted to give Lenny Spano a chance to talk to my father. Something to the tune of, "Look, just tell him to sign this paperwork we're going to send him and go for this ridiculous counseling that he definitely does not need. And we'll make things all right." Because that's the message that was passed on at the time. Now, the problem was that it was too late. The guy had already taken my daughter from me. So now he's got an enemy for life.
Right. Yeah.
To my last breath.
Yeah.
There's no signing protections away to him. There's no being desperate to keep my job. This guy has to be exposed. He's fucking dangerous. Okay. But you got to understand something. This is not some crooked cop who's out there who's having trouble paying his. This is not the old days where cops were underpaid and you had some crooked cop out there couldn't pay his mortgage and he was out there doing crooked things to make extra money. This is the fucking police commissioner, bro. This is the police commissioner. The police commissioner is doing things like this. And now he's the police chief of the MTAPD. Okay? Stone cold setup artist. Crooked as a barrel of snakes. All right?
That's interesting
now,
saying.
Yeah. Now, when we actually have the family court hearing, now this is the sickening part, right? When we actually have the family court hearing on February 18th, that's based on the petition that she filed. She's got orders of protection in place. Okay. Later on, actually, what I left out was later on February 13th, the day in between, right? In between the doctor's appointments, the black shirts come and they serve me with the paperwork. Now, we weren't sure. Me and my father were like, I was trembling. Did they include my daughter in this? Do I have to stay away from my daughter? And my father says, I don't see any way that they didn't. I said, it can't be. She would never.
Right.
She did. The two black shirts on my porch almost watched me cry when I looked down at the paperwork. And I saw that they were keeping my daughter from me now. All right. Now, here's the really sick part. Go to the doctor's appointment and all that stuff. And before we get close to the end here, let's take a look at the reason that he came up with. Because remember, I told you that an administrator from the management office came up with this reason why it was really the clinic that canceled. Oh, the first doctor said she wasn't qualified. She looked at the material. She said, I'm not qualified for this. Now, the second doctor was also told to cover. See, Mueller must have called up when I said I had the recording. He must have called up. Who's giving out information to the people that we're sending to you?
Right.
You know what I mean? This guy says he has a recording. You better hope he doesn't. You have to cover. You tell the second doctor he has to cover for me.
Or your contract's done.
Right. So what does Dr. Open Palm do? I need a cough drop. I'm going to look for one. If you can, pull up that. I sent you a file called the actual text or something, or what I actually said.
Oh yeah. Anthony, I just want to take a pause for a second really quick and just, touch on that with your daughter. And I want people to really understand that that's an emotional thing. I'm sure there's parents out there that can understand and feel what you're going through. And I want to highlight that because not to, make you emotional harp on it, but to show why, because some people look at you and say, there's people that have no skin in the game, right? Like they're not on the police's side or whatever. These are people that I know, that I could trust and stuff. But, they say, well, maybe, he's a little aggressive or he's too, but I mean, having heard this part about it also now, Anthony, because it's the first time really, I'm really hearing it in more detail. I could understand why you may be reacting this way. You know what I'm saying? So I just want people to know that. So they understand that they have that empathy and sympathy, right? Because I was with that CPS and I know how that feels. So I'm sorry that you went through that, man. And I just wanted to say that, and because that's crazy. No one should ever have to go through that. You're talking about this here, right?
Right. So what he does, the way he covers up in the report that he would later write, and this is pulled directly from the report. I redacted everything else because I don't want to get to it yet. At some point, I am going to show you the whole report. We'll put the whole thing on the screen. But because the doctor mentions things and situations that I haven't yet spoken about, I don't want them up on the screen until we can get to that point properly in the right chronology. So what he says is to cover for the department, to come up with an excuse as to why it was the first doctor who really canceled the appointment, right? Because remember, they don't know I have the recording. Right. I told them I had it, but they probably think I'm bluffing.
Yeah.
So they have this guy try to cover for them. Now,
I can see them
2 days after internal affairs, I sent her a text message, and this is she and I fight back and forth, right? And I'm basically telling her, like, I know how they do what they do with these doctors, and this evaluation better be on the level because I got lawyers and they're going to go to town on these guys. So what I actually said was, I said, my attorneys and the handful of retired guys I've retained as legal advisors, they know I'm talking about Ray Montero and a bunch of other guys. Right? They know who I'm talking about. They got to lay waste to the valley if the doctor doesn't approve me to return to duty in the same capacity that I had before, if I don't get my guns back, or Venturino isn't equally punished for the threat that he made in the voicemail. Now, what are lawyers doing when they're laying waste to somebody's valley?
I've never heard that.
It's a fiery sounding term. It's hyperbole, but what does it sound like it means to you?
I mean, it sounds like you just clearing out the whole valley, man. You just blowing it all up.
Well, no, what are lawyers doing when they're laying waste to somebody else's valley? They're suing people, right?
Oh, I've never heard that term.
Right? I mean, look, no, I mean, it's just it's just a term that basically means, we're gonna blow up the system or
right. So that what they're saying that was something aggressive that you said, or
right.
that you...
Now look what he says on the right. Right now, this is his reason. He has to come up with a reason why it was actually the first doctor that canceled. So he denies any homicidal thoughts. However, there is evidence in material review that there were homicidal thoughts in the past. In a text a few days ago, an appointment was set up with another psychologist from IMA, and he wrote in a text that he would lay law to the land to any quack doctor who had found him not fit to work. Now,
wow.
He puts that in quotes, meaning that's a verbatim quote. Like that's actually what I said. It's nothing close to what I said. Okay. What I said was that my attorneys are going to lay waste to the valley. Now, I don't know attorneys to be in the business of violence for hire. Do you?
No,
that's not generally what they do.
No,
what they do is they sue people,
right,
and they end people's careers. They expose people, right? Wow. They get people into trouble. Now, that's obviously, I think, what I meant by that. But he says that the thing that I wrote in this text message is really an indication that I'm planning to murder the doctor that does the evaluation if he or she doesn't return me back to work.
Right. Any doctor, not just that doctor, but any doctor.
Right. So, and he says, thus, that psychologist refused to see him. So, in other words, that's why the appointment was canceled.
Wow.
He's covering for them right in the report.
Wow.
But I have this recording where the receptionist is telling me, and she's reading from something. If you paid attention to the recording, she says, it says client. I said, who canceled this? She says, it says client. Right. Meaning the department. It says it. So she's reading from a record of some sort. Right. Either the computer or a piece of paper right in front of her. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So but this guy's in their pocket.
Even if that were true, right? Even if she canceled it or they canceled it because they were concerned that you were having these homicidal thoughts, why would they say the department canceled it? Why not they cancel it and give some other excuse, right? If they didn't want to tell you what, you know what I'm saying? I just don't see why they would put it on the department either way. So that right there to me, just I'm just saying
because that's what happened.
Right. No, I know they messed
that
up.
she
Either
couldn't
way.
get to family court until the next day.
Right.
He wanted that information in the report that the doctor needed to help him fail me. So he canceled the appointment. She went the next day.
I get that. I'm just saying that.
Right.
I mean, if I'm looking at it, I would believe you is what I'm saying, because they said decline, which is the department. So, whatever. Either way, they should have never said that. Right.
Right. But I schmoozed him. I told him, listen, I'm not looking to cause no problems. Wow. I just want to get in touch with the person who canceled it, That's
crazy, man.
So she told me and I recorded it. Now here's the sickest part of all this, right? I don't know what that means, Larry. But I'm happy that you have faith in me, man. I appreciate it. So here's the sickest part of all it. We go to family court on February 18th. Now, when orders of protection are obtained and a family offense petition has been filed, we'll do a whole thing on the family court. I had some of that planned anyway. Again, we're moving this up for the sake of the people who have appointments at this clinic. Now, when you go to the family court and there's orders of protection that have to be resolved, usually what happens is mom will get the order of protection, and the family court petition will tell you what date and time you have to be at the family court, usually within a week or two.
Yeah. Not for me.
You go because you're not being allowed to see your kid.
I got you. So they want to make it quick. Right. I got you.
They get you the first appointment, the first court appearance rather quickly, where they'll put some provisions in place. Okay, here's how you're going to see your kid. Because when they serve you with that order of protection, stay away from the kid. You can't see her. You can't go near the house. You can't call her on the telephone.
Let me talk to my kid. Man.
You cannot see her, okay, at all.
God bless you, brother. I don't know. I would be in jail or dead after that, man. So
it wasn't easy, brother. I'm telling you. Now you haven't even heard the worst part yet. Wait till this clicks. Ready?
Yeah.
February 18th, we show up, and there were some things said back and forth. My daughter's mother shows up with no attorney. I had an attorney, someone who works up there, actually a retired NYPD sergeant. Okay. Now we show up, and some provisions were put in place about how I get to see my daughter. Now, the judge made another appointment, another court date in March. I think it was March 9th, I want to say. And we showed up to that one, and things were still being, they do these things 15, 20 minutes at a time. It doesn't all get resolved right at once. Now, after the second one, March 9th, the provision that was put in place was you get to see her once a week, okay, under your parents' supervision, like you're some animal, at your parents' house, like in other words, her grandparents, my parents,
right,
in Yonkers, okay, 1 day a week, on a Saturday. Every other weekend, she'll sleep over Saturday into Sunday morning. You have to leave the house at 9 o'clock at night. You have to sleep somewhere else, okay? You cannot call her during the week. The order of protection, that part of it is still in place. You cannot speak to her, call her, talk to her on the telephone, anything. The only contact you get with her is when her mother brings her to the house, to her grandparents' house. You'll be there one Saturday, every Saturday. 1 week it'll be just a Saturday. The other week it'll be a sleepover. You have to leave the house. That's it. No other contact. Now,
1 second. This is still in place now, you said?
No, this has been
okay.
For a long time. Everything's back to normal. Actually, I made out quite well in family court, but that'll be something that we talk about down the line. But think about the time frame now. March 9th, we had another hearing set for March 18th or something like that, March 20 something, right? What happens? Think about the time frame. What's going on in the world in March of 2020?
The pandemic and everything, yeah.
It's just starting.
And that really messed people up who were going through stuff like this.
The court closes.
Yeah.
Closes completely. I'm stuck in that situation, seeing my kid 1 day a week, unable to talk to her on the weekdays for a whole year.
Wow.
51 weeks. Right?
Wow.
My daughter, at one point, months later, she had an Apple Watch that my mother had bought her. She got my number somehow. She called me. I didn't recognize the number. I answered it. Hi, Daddy. And I had to hang up the fucking phone.
Yeah, because they'll take that shit serious. As much as you want to say I love you, and really quick, not to interrupt you, but that's exactly what happened with the woman who's in jail now, or she went to jail. I had her on my podcast. She told her kids she loved them, and she violated the order of protection. So you did the right thing. Unfortunately,
I was in tears, bro. I was in tears. A grown man. I can't remember the last time I cried. I had fucking tears coming out of my eyes because I just had to hang up the phone on my daughter who called me to talk to me, my 5-year-old daughter.
Yeah, but that would have made it worse for you, man.
Because I have no idea what kind of instructions this sick fuck has her under now.
Right.
Is she going to use this order of protection against me? I don't think so. But then again, I never thought she would take it this far on his orders. But she did. Okay, that's John Mueller for you. I want everybody to realize that's the city of Yonkers for you.
Yeah, that's fucked up, man.
That's the clinic they use. Totally in the bag. Total hatchet job. All financially destitute, underperforming shrinks. The clinic is in contract with the city to serve their masters, okay? John Mueller is manipulating them. He's using his leverage over her to get her to the family court to actually create the problems that I'm supposed to have before I get sent for a psychological evaluation. Remember, with crooked cops, everything is a means to an end. You target the person you want targeted, you figure out what you want to do to them, and you come up with the evidence afterwards, okay?
Right.
That's how people like John Mueller operate, okay? He may be the commissioner of the New York City Police Department someday. I don't know, because the Spanos don't stop getting him promoted.
He reverse engineers the evidence.
Absolutely.
You know, that's crazy. And you know what I'm thinking as you're saying, yeah, this is fucked up. Excuse my language, but because as a dad, man, that's one thing. And they know that, and that's why they've attacked my family, because they know how much and they want me to react. As a dad, man, I didn't go through what you went through. I cannot, imagine that. But just even the thought makes me want to fight somebody. But here's what I was thinking also when you were saying that, which is what made me, like a little upset. I received an email from somebody, and I'm not going to say the name. Maybe not. I will later down the line, but I'm not right now. And this person yesterday was telling me about, not to, tag them, their concern is their kids and their family and protecting that, and that, they're not, political or nothing, and they don't want to be involved in that, they just want to focus on this. But, these individuals are part of, or close to the people that did this to you, right? And then I'm thinking about this email that I'm receiving from this person. I'm like, yo, look what they did to you. And you're talking about your kids, but what about the other people's kids that they've screwed over, that they've got, that, they took their jobs away, retaliated against, and fucking just try to bury, right? And what they did to you.
Badly. He panicked so badly when I brought an attorney to Internal Affairs,
That's crazy.
That it became an entire situation of, oh my God, we put the cart before the horse. Okay. We're using his ex against him just purely for workplace retaliation. They don't have any real serious problems in their personal life. Okay. But we're pretending that they do because we want to destroy his career. Now, we don't have to worry about the fact that there are no real problems because we got the union. Yeah. Thanks, brother. I'm glad you noticed that, right? And so now it's okay. I got to get him to the doctor, and he's got to fail the evaluation. But how good does it look that he's got no problems in his personal life with this woman?
Right.
We're using her against him to do all of this stuff at work. But none of the problems that are supposed to be there first exist. So we have to make them exist now. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I have to be kept away from my kid because she says I'm nuts. Now, she didn't want to do any of this shit. But they have leverage over her. They'll destroy her career like they did to me if she doesn't help them do it to me. And she can't afford to lose what I lost. She almost has no choice. I mean, people say, yeah, she had a choice. But, I mean, she's a financially independent woman. She has people to take care of. Okay. Now I got people all around me taking care of me and helping me. I got a lot of great friends who have a lot of money. My parents are well off. I don't have all that much to worry about. I got money in the bank myself.
Right.
So I'm all right. She couldn't afford to lose what I lost. That's why. And ultimately, after cooler heads prevailed and I couldn't believe that she did this to me. But ultimately, I came to understand what choice did she really have, because Mueller is fucking ruthless. He's extremely.
Yeah, right. You don't know what else he might have said to her and threatened her with.
I have no idea. I mean, I have an idea, but I have no idea. And I mean, she denies it to her core. What else is she going to do? She's a detective. If she admits to taking part in something like this,
right,
every defense attorney at every trial she ever testifies at will rip her apart over it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Interesting.
So what choice does she have?
Interesting. Very interesting.
Anyway,
you know, and that's what they do, man. I once put MI6. You know what MI6 is, right? And Rule Rose from Yonkers Voice said, "Oh, you're talking about M16? You must be a violent guy." I said, "No, it's MI6. That's the intelligence agency for, Great Britain or British, whatever."
He's a hand job and a half.
Yeah, but they try to make you look violent. That's what they want to do. Crazy and violent. That's the thing. Can't wait until the reckoning. Once LT Lieutenant DiMaggio comes out of that situation, I will greatly anticipate a pod from him that continues to bridge the gap between police and the community. That's a great idea. I like that, actually, Larry. Thank you. I think that'd be great, actually, really, and to kind of prevent shit like this, man. And also, something where you work with officers, who are currently on the force, with some shit like that, man, maybe you should go get your law degree now that you think about it, right? And defend cops.
After being through this situation and seeing how lawyers behave, a lot of them, I mean, I'm sure there were better ones out there, but I mean, this guy, Paul Sweeney, he's got some job, man. The fires he has to put out for Mike Spano.
Danny says she is a good woman. I have known her for a while. I'm not taking sides, and that's what's up.
She's a good woman.
And and you said that, and you saying that she was really put in a situation that no one should have to be put in. And I mean, we can't judge because you don't know what you would do in that situation. I could only imagine what kind of pressure that they probably put on her. And as you described him over the course of these podcasts, he sounds exactly like what you've said, a sadist, right? You've said that
completely out of his mind.
Yeah, and so wow, that's incredible.
I was a little nervous about this podcast because I do get emotional when I start talking about this stuff. Makes me very sad.
And that's okay,
angry,
man.
I mean,
that's okay. Listen, it's okay for men to get emotional. It's okay, especially when it comes to your kids. I've gotten emotional a few times doing the podcast myself. It's okay, man. And I want people to, I think it's okay when people see that they start to, it softens you up a bit, Anthony. And then people can see a little bit and understand why more. And then you have more people willing to be like, you know what, man, that's fucked up, man. Fuck these people. And so, that's why I wanted to really just touch on that part and highlight that what they did to your daughter and how that made you feel, because now I could understand you a little bit more, right? And other people understand you a little more, why you're so fiery and ready to fuck people up. Excuse my language, because I'm upset about what they did to you, because that's, I mean, your kid for a whole year, Anthony. Man, I love my kids. I love waking up with them and putting them in bed. So that shit would have blew my mind.
You have a situation where a global pandemic is keeping the court shut. You have no access to your kid except for one day a week, and you have no idea when it's going to end. For all you know, she might be driving before this is all over with. Now, thank God it didn't play out that way.
I don't know what's happening, but this is just opening for me now. We'll have to watch replay since I'm joining only now. Veterans Day blessings, Anthony. Thank you for your service. That's Joan Gronowski, former councilwoman, Joan Gronowski, councilwoman.
Thank you as always, Joan.
Very good woman there. Great supportive messaging, Freddie. Absolutely. And I just want people to really see what what he's gone
Danny,
through and feel that.
I would. Yeah, Danny, I would appreciate it if you stopped doing these photo bombs. These messages.
I accidentally clicked on that one by accident, but I did want to show the other. But yeah, at a later date, Danny, or maybe through email, you guys can communicate and you can talk about that, and then focus on that. But anyway, folks, it's one of the ways. Anything, Anthony DiMaggio, before we wrap this up, that you want to say?
Yeah, just the the main thing is, well, first of all, thanks everybody for bearing with me, because I do get a little emotional when I talk about this portion of the story. I felt it had to be moved up because there are other things I want to talk about first. But there are, like I said, there are people with appointments for this clinic, this absolute horror show of a clinic right now, and I'm telling them, don't go. Fight termination for insubordination. Now, do what your lawyer says, but that's my advice. You're going to get railroaded.
Right.
So get the word out. All the city workers, anybody who sees this, the cops, anybody who sees this, get the buzz around about this clinic, okay? This clinic is crooked as a barrel of snakes. And I got all the proof in the world of it. I showed you a lot of it tonight, not all of it, but that was the meat and potatoes of it. I tried to condense it into an hour so I can squeeze it into one podcast. And that's it. That's, that's how they destroyed my family life.
Yeah. I mean, no, man, they really, and this is just to intentionally and, do this with, you plan this out and everything to do this to a man, look, I mean, it's fucked up with the job and your money and your pension and all that. And then now you're going kids, you're playing with someone's kids.
They
How
don't
low
stop.
can you really
They
go,
don't stop.
man?
They just
How
don't
low
stop.
can you go? That's
anyway. Give him a
horrible.
4th term. Give Mayor Spano a 4th term. He appoints people like this.
How do you feel about that? Actually, they're gonna do a vote on Tuesday. The city council. Should the people support that or no?
No, I think that I think people really need to get a grip on the American system of government and how it's supposed to work. The reasons why the people who set this country up didn't want people serving 3 and 4 and 5 terms for life. Because make no doubt about it, that's what he wants. After 4, it's going to be 5, and after 5, it's going to be 6. The guy has nowhere else to go. Okay, no one gives a shit about him outside of Yonkers. So this is what he wants to do. He wants to be mayor for life. That's why I call him mayor for life. The reason they don't want people, the reason that the founders didn't want people serving all of these terms is because with each passing term, you become more powerful. Checks and balances erode more. People just become afraid of you because they never know when you're going to leave.
Right.
And you amass power that you're not supposed to have in this country. Okay. That's why they don't want people, serving endless terms. And it should take more than just a few of his friends on the city council wiping their ass with the city charter every 4 years to allow him to just keep going. It should be up to the people.
Right. And that's what I'm trying to, tell folks. I mean, they all have an interest to vote yes to extended terms. They all have friends, family members that are benefiting with them sitting there. And so I just wanted you to give your opinion because of what you went through. And it was under this administration. Right. And that's what happened to you. Anyway, folks, that was Anthony DiMaggio back on Basement Politics. Again, people are watching. They want to hear about this. Well done, Profound Power. Happy Veterans Day. Chair Force.
Oh, you got that picture from when I was 20 years old?
Yeah,
we showed it on the ones that we had to delete, but
yeah. Let me show it. Let me bring that back up. But yeah, happy Veterans Day to every veteran out there who served. Thank you for your service. Obviously, we want to celebrate you and make sure that we recognize the people who sacrifice a lot, and not just the veterans, but also the family members of veterans. We want to say shout out to you guys because you guys have also made a ultimate sacrifice there. There he goes.
Yeah, that's
Anthony
20 years
DiMaggio.
It's about 70 pounds ago too. So
Anthony DiMaggio there in the Air Force, looking handsome as ever. How long were you in the Air Force?
Just 4 years.
4 years?
Me and all my buddies joined, we all joined one branch or the other after 9/11, and then we did our service and we came home.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. And so again, happy Veterans Day. My dad was, like I mentioned, in the Marines. He was on the USS Enterprise, an aircraft carrier, while in the Marines, and he traveled the world, and that was some of the greatest years of his life. So shout out to all the veterans again. Happy Veterans Day. Anthony DiMaggio, thank you for joining me. It's good to see you back on. People are happy to see you back on. Some people are not happy to see you back on. But I don't think you very much care about that. Freddie. What's that?
Let's talk offline over the weekend.
Yeah, we're definitely going to do that, and we'll touch base tomorrow. I will give you a call. Take care. Have a good night. Anthony DiMaggio, folks.
Thank you.
Have a good one. We'll see you next week. Folks, that was Anthony DiMaggio. Yeah, he's back on Basement Politics. That's right. A lot of people wanted to hear his story, and I wanted him to tell his story and continue to finish his story because that's part of the reason why I did Basement Politics, if not the main reason, to get out the information, to give people a platform so they can speak their truth. And I couldn't deny him of that, right? And, I would be then, not being true to why I started it, regardless of what, it is. And that's why I always say that, I don't care what issues I have. And not that I have one anything, I'm just saying in general, whatever it is, as long as you have something that's important that the people need to know about, you will always have an invitation on Basement Politics. And so that's why you will, continue to see Anthony DiMaggio. He'll be on next week again. We'll be continuing to do this, and we don't know where this ahead, but people did want to see him. People reached out to me and said, hey, Freddie, you guys should really get back together. It was great. It was interesting. The city needs that. The podcasts were important. That information that he was speaking of was very important, and people needed to know about it. And so that's what it's here for, right? The podcast. So I can't deny, that information from being put out there. Not that I could stop it. You can go somewhere else. But, I think that I've developed a podcast and a following that, it just makes a good match. And I think that's what people were saying. And so, we're here for the people, so that's why I want, you'll see Anthony DiMaggio back on again, and we'll be finishing. And who knows where, again, we'll take this, maybe some other podcast, something else, who knows, right? But anyway, shout out to the ladies at the building department. I was saddened to hear that you thought the plant I gave you ladies had a bug in it. Maybe a real bug, but not a listening device. That's right, folks. After I was at the building department the other day, I was doing something for another project, I have. Again, so I'm not new to the building department, They were screwing with me. They were actively screwing with me. That's a fact. I wanted to make sure that the women there on the 4th floor, knew that I'm not a bad guy. I'm not really, but if you mess with me, I'm going to be that guy, right? But I'm really not. And I wanted them to understand that I appreciated what they, done. I appreciate them and everything that they do. So I went and got them a plant, an orchid, right? And I paid, I don't know how much it paid, but it was, I bought this thing. I spent a little bit of money on a few bucks on it, and I gave it to them, and they thought it was bugged. So they got rid of it. That's messed up. They thought I had a listening device in the plant. That's why I was giving it to them. Yo, that's funny. Ladies, I was not throw out my plant, man. I was a gift. Could have gave it to somebody else. At least I checked it. Did you check it? Should have checked it. Was not putting no bug in there. No, I was just trying to be nice, ladies. I hope you understand now. I won't bring you anything else. I was actually going to do edible arrangements. That's what I was going to do. I wanted, but they couldn't do it that same day. But then you probably wouldn't have ate it because you probably thought it was going to be poison, right? I can't even win. I can't win here for nothing. Ladies, thank you for everything. I was just showing my appreciation. I appreciate it. It was not bugged. If I was going to bug the place, it would have been a completely different way. You would have never known about it because I already had. Anyway, folks, I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. I still have my play from Hong Kong. I would imagine that's to Anthony DiMaggio. I'm Freddie Vasquez with Basement Politics. Stay tuned for more information on the 4th term and what's going to be happening with that. As I mentioned earlier today, this evening, they are planning on amending the charter. From my sources, Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, the city council president, will be the one to introduce this legislation to extend the term limits again, making it 4 terms. Initially, I thought it was Mike Breen, but it's going to be the city council president. They're going to vote on it 6-1. Moranti's not going to vote on it. But the fact that I know this tells you that it's already planned. It's already planned. So that means that if they have a public, well, they're supposed to have, they're going to have a public hearing. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter because I'm already telling you what the outcome is going to be. It's going to be 6-1. And the only reason it wouldn't be is because they got to prove me wrong. Corazon flip-flop. They only need 4. So you might see Corazon vote no now because it doesn't matter. It's still going to get passed. But initially, it was going to be 6-1 because they wanted to show that the council really is full support. And that's why they got these letters from the Yonkers Mexican Chamber of Commerce the way they did and others. And Anthony DiMaggio's story today, folks, should tell you that everything is staged. Everything is a script. They plan things and then they execute that plan. And many people get hurt as a result. Well, it's time to put that to an end. And I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. And we're going to rally. People are going to rally. Let's do it. Look out for that. Thank you for joining me. Have a great night, folks. Have a blessed week. And as always, I love you, folks. Please don't have me out there by myself. You know, Brian Haran, they're gonna make. If I'm out there by myself, they're gonna say the village idiot went out there by himself. He's the only one. I'm not doing it for me because I hear this from everybody. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. I am Freddie Vasquez. Anthony DiMaggio's back on. Most people are happy to see that. some are going to be upset. What you guys did to that man, you kept him away from his child. For an entire year, he was only able to see his child 1 day a week. 52 days out of 300, or what, 65? Is it 60? How many days a week? I don't even know. Point is that you guys will go to any length to bring someone down and to hurt somebody, and even do that to them and their children. That's sickening. That's disgusting. And what's sad is that families were friends for a very long time and it still happened. Doesn't matter. And this is what I'm telling certain individuals who are also having issues. It doesn't matter. Once you have a problem with these individuals, it's a problem for life. I know that. I've always known that. Folks, we're going to be coming hard either way, whether they extend the term limits or not. It doesn't matter, because I'm still going to be coming with the information, and we're going to expose each and every one of you, one by one. Say, I'm answering, and I'm going to countersue you. I know you don't like to spend money. I heard you cheap. I heard that you like to, be flashy, but you're cheap. You pulled out a big wad of money in front of me at the bagel place that day. Were you trying to impress me? I'm not impressed by money. I was impressed by the fact that you were able to call certain individuals directly anytime you wanted to. Let's go to court. Hey, Zahi, I'm out of here.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
Tell him, E. I could never have gone without seeing my kid, and I probably would have done something very stupid.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
That's my beautiful princess right there. I would have went crazy. Thank God. Don't let me give them any ideas. They'll probably have CPS at my house. If CPS comes to my house, you're gonna know that the city did that.
And I want somebody to want a chicken. So thank you.
Didn't Corazon say publicly at the housing forum that her vote was going to be the same? No. Maybe she will vote no still, and it'll be 5-1 on the extension of the term limits. Remember that, Corazon. You said it, not me.
In another one, Mr. Rubo lied to me, and I don't vote for a person that lied to me. Thank you very much.
Yo, John Rubo, would it be like cuz? How you been, John Rubo? Listen, John, join me. Join me. Come on, man. What about you, Nader? Nader Sage. Join me. You want to be mayor, don't you, Nader? You should go for it. I mean, you got the numbers, Nader. You got the support. Why are you going to wait? I mean, I don't get it. It's now or never, Nader. You should run. I mean, I think the people want change. And you are not the same. You are a completely different person, human. You should run, Nader. Don't let anyone discourage you. I know you want to be mayor. John Rubo doesn't have the votes. You do, though, Nader. Consider it, Nader. Don't let anyone scare you, Nader. You're a tough guy. Roberto, make sure you encourage Nader to run. He's got the numbers. He got the votes. The man has been, he's received 30,000 votes before. And that's Yonkers, man. I think you should run, Nader. I really do think you should run. Listen, and I'm saying that, and I haven't been the biggest supporter, right, Nader? But I'm just keeping it honest. You should run. You got the numbers. It's now or never. And we know you want it. Think about it. I'll vote for you.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddie Vasquez.
Nader for mayor. Nader Sage for mayor. Nader for mayor. Nader is greater. Nader is greater. Nader Sage for mayor. Nader, 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 Nader.
That's a lot of stars. Hopefully, we're going to get to 3,500 stars. When I get there, I will be happy. So that my competition, the guy who always talks about me.
That's me. Listen, I want the city council members or the elected officials to do me a favor next time you're around Pedo Tube. Ask him if it's true that he told me that elected officials wanted him and Brian Harrod to write a nasty article about me and pump it out there to hurt my business. Ask him if he told me that. Ask him if we met at Paxos after he told me the first time to tell me that again. Ask him. Ask him if it's true or not. I have it recorded. So ask him, who were the elected officials in 2021 when he told me this? Because we're going to go to court. You guys have been hurting my business. I have the evidence. I have the proof. I have a guy that you guys pay and continue to pay for interviews and everything else, ads, saying that you wanted him to write an article about me negatively to hurt my daycare business. And they have. They have completely made things up. Ruros has completely made things up. Brian Harrod completely made things up. Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, why did your aide, Maria, chief of staff, say that I would be getting arrested for child pornography? What is she talking about? And why is she telling that to prominent women in Westchester County? Why? Why is that? Women that would be willing to testify that that is exactly what she said. She said, my boss is investigating Freddie. She's going to look into him for child pornography. He's going to be arrested. Maria, why would you say that? Why would you say that? So prepare. Prepare yourselves. I was waiting for a lawsuit. Subpoena power. No FOIA crap. Subpoena power. Remember, you guys are dirty. Not me. You guys are dirty. The best thing you should have ever did was help Freddie, work with Freddie. Not jerk him around, try to screw him over, because everything I did was strategic. So why did Maria say that, Lakeisha, city council president, attorney, employee of Municipal Housing Authority of the city of Yonkers? Interesting that child pornography all leads back to Macy. And your chief of staff, Maria, would say that. And she said it in front of prominent people, confusing them as to why she would say that. People aren't going to lie. They're not going to lie for me, for you. They're not going to lie for Maria. Why did Maria say that? And now look what's happening to me. Look what Brian Harrod put up about my wife. We have a daycare center. We work with children. My wife works in a school district. And look what Brian Harrod is putting up. Same thing that your chief of staff was saying. You guys have one of those globe things where, where you a crystal ball where you can see the future, because you've done this several times now. You know things before you should know them. Why, Lakeisha? Why did your chief of staff do that? Why did she tell prominent people that know me and my wife? She made a boo-boo. She made a boo-boo. So did you give that woman her voucher for sending me that video, Lakeisha? Was that the arrangement? Was it? Send this to Freddie Vasquez. We'll get you your voucher back. I mean, how quickly you guys responded to us to give her a hearing. It was almost like you saw this as an opportunity to set me up. Ladies and gentlemen, I had this woman on my podcast in regards to losing her voucher, having her voucher taken during the pandemic. A single mother. I felt bad. So she came on the show. Literally, as we got off, I was getting calls and text messages from Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, the city council president, which I have. I have everything. Saying, how can I help? Let me know. How can I help? Then Brandon McGrath, the attorney for Macy, contacted her at 7-something at night, stating they were going to give her a hearing. Why couldn't you give her a hearing sooner? But now she goes on my show, and literally that same night, you guys are reaching out to give her a hearing. And then she invites me to the hearing. She says, they said I could bring someone, you could come, so I want you to come. I go there, I'm approached by 2 guards. These are by a company called Heathcote or something like that, which also donates a lot and may also pay for consulting services. These 2 dudes come up to me and say, why are you here? The fuck you mean why I'm here? You don't even know who I am. Why would you even ask me that? How do you know I don't need housing? Why would I be here? I'm sitting down in a chair. I'm not causing any problem. Right? So they said you can't go into the meeting, hearing's not public. Although they sent an email, supposedly is what she said. They sent an email stating that I could be there. So I said, well, send me the email so I can show her and say, hey, it didn't happen. So I didn't wait because she didn't, it took a while, I had to go. Next thing I hear from her is about this video and the stuff that's happening in the Yonkers public school. She's talking about kids being sexually assaulted. She's telling me that people have been stabbed and it's against videos, and the school's not telling the parents. They're trying to keep it all in the hush hush. Then she sends me a video. I don't know what it was. She wasn't explaining it clearly. And I hit play, and as soon as I had an idea what it might be, I stopped it and I deleted it. And next thing you know, everybody's talking about Freddie Vasquez and child pornography. Rue Rose is telling everybody this. Brian Harrod and Maria Lakeisha Collins Bellamy, the city council president's chief of staff, is saying that I'm going to be arrested for child pornography. What? Was this a setup? Well, we're going to have to find out in court, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. These people are wicked. 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 A black woman, right, Lakeisha, that you are, and you know my wife is black, yet you would allow that to happen. You don't care about black. That don't matter to you. People care about green. That's what it matters. Green. And when you stop caring about that, you can see those who care about it more clearly. Because when you care about it so much, it's acceptable to be so greedy and all about money that you would be willing to go to such great lengths. That's a black woman. I'm a Latino man. We have a business, but y'all have no qualms bringing us down when all we wanted was your help. Instead of pulling us up, you kicked us down. Who do you represent? Who do you represent? And so I stand by my post because that wasn't your idea, but you was a part of it. All good things must come to an end, folks. We're going to court. Zahi, thank you. Lakeisha, you'll be hearing from my attorney. Maria, you'll be hearing from my attorney. Some of you will be quick called as witnesses. I'm sorry and I apologize. But this is what they've done. It's time to make change. Why are we going to allow this? It is obvious that our city council has been corrupted to the core. To the core. I mean, we should just forget rallying to end, to stop the term extension. We should be rallying to get them all removed. That's the truth. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. I'll see you in court. I mean, there's going to be witnesses that are, they're big time witnesses.
Freddie wins.
Prominent individuals will be called to be witnesses. What was you investigating, Lakeisha? You're not even an investigator. Why would you be investigating me for anything? So what does Maria mean when she said that you were investigating me for child pornography? Are you a detective? What is this, Law and Order, SIU or SVU? You're on the Special Victims Unit? I didn't know you do investigations. Why would Maria say you're investigating? Investigating what? What does that mean exactly?
Freddie wins.
Zahi is screwing all of you guys up. Y'all need to stay away from that man. He's bad news. I mean, he got people put in jail and you're gonna mess with him? Jeez. No sense. No sense. Why would you stay around Zahi Jarris when he's gotten politicians put in jail, including himself? No sense. Yo, Nick Spanner, I was trying to talk to you, man. They're gonna come for me hard. Nick Spanner, I was wanting to talk to you and meet with you, man, but it never happened for whatever reason. I wanted to see if I could hire you. I need some consulting services.
Freddie wins.
Do you do daycares?
Freddie wins.
Do you take on clients like my daycare center for consulting services?
Freddie wins. Fatality.
I know you guys take on the unions, PBA, CLSA, Empress, you got St. John's. But do you do daycares? Or are you gonna do Lakeisha's and not mine? Is that gonna do Nick? This mess. Nick, how upset was Carmen? Was she really upset? Did you tell her you were gonna come talk to me about it? You never did, right? Tell her you never did. Carmen stopping people's parties at the PAL.
Freddie wins.
Why are you stopping people's? Yo, these people are so shady. They don't even want to see other people do good things. They'll stop you. Like, I'm not the only person. I'm just the one person that's speaking out about it. Like, Carmen, you stopping another Latina? This is what I'm saying. They got us fighting each other. Horrible, Carmen. And you know what's sad, Carmen? You know what's sad? How you do the biologicals.
Freddie wins.
For the steps.
Fatality.
Y'all want to mess with me? You mess with the wrong person.
No!